Knockout football is here, and before we get into our predictions, I've got some sorries to say. That's right, it's the World Cup Predictor. If you don't know how this series works, rules are on the screen right now. Pause the video to make sure you know what's going on. Let's get into this. So before we jump into looking at the current league table and then looking at my predictions for the first four round of 16 matches in the World Cup in Qatar 2022, I've got an apology to make. It turns out that YouTube comments weren't working properly, so I actually missed a couple of people off the league table in the last video. A couple of people got in contact, let me know that the comments weren't working, that I hadn't seen them, that they had done the comments. I've now been able to see your comments on those videos. I've backdated everything, gone through the scores, made sure you've got all the points that you're entitled to. I can only apologise for that happening. It's not my fault, really. I don't know why I'm apologising. It's YouTube's fault. I've gotten in touch with someone at YouTube. They're going to help us sort it out, especially when it comes to Premier League Predictor soon. We don't want it messing up that league table at all. So, apologies for missing you out on the league table originally, but you are on it now. And here is the league table up until the end of the second group games. I'm of course having to record this in advance so that you guys get the video before the knockout stages begin and you can make your predictions. So I'm recording this before the end of the group games. Here is the league table up until the end of the second group game. Stuyben is out in front with 33 points. Timo has 32 points and Ben has 30 points. Very close at the top of the table. It's all to play for, even though I have actually calculated the scores a little further than this and someone does pull away. But let's not talk about it. It's all to play for. Make sure you get your predictions in the comments as I predict mine. Watch all the way through to the end to make sure that you see every little part of this video so you know which games you're meant to be predicting. And yeah, I'm hyped. This is cool. I'm really enjoying this tournament at the moment and people are really in there. And even below Ben, Jossel, Annie are still up and around there. Anyone could win this in the end of the day. Apart from Jack Clay, who only predicted 1 week. But I appreciate the views nonetheless. Today we're going to be predicting the first half of the round of 16. So we're not going to be predicting all of the round of 16 because there wasn't enough time to do that and get the video out in time for you guys to make predictions for the first game of the week. So I've gone with just doing the first four to begin with. We'll do the other four in a separate video. We've got Netherlands against America. We've got Argentina versus Australia, France versus Poland, and England versus Senegal. It's a decent matchup for these first four knockout games. It's going to be hard to predict. Now, there's no real big teams that are missing here. The ones that didn't qualify that we would have expected to is arguably Mexico, potentially. Denmark are gone. Apart from that, Ecuador getting pipped by Senegal is kind of surprising, I guess, but Senegal have been playing very well. It's been pretty straightforward. It's kind of who I would expect to have gone through from the groups. Starting with the Netherlands versus the USA then. I have a soft spot. I'm sorry. I've actually kind of fallen in love with this American team. They're so kind of entertaining to watch and I can just see a project building. Of course, they are hosting the next World Cup and I can just see them building up to that moment with each game that they play. They did very well against England. They also won against Iran. And I believe, was it a draw against Wales? I can't quite remember if I'm honest with you. I assume it was a draw against Wales. They performed very tidily indeed. I'm massively impressed with how this American team has performed so far this World Cup. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm saying they beat the Netherlands. I think the Netherlands have had a very easy tournament so far. And I'm just going to check the Dutch. The Dutch didn't win all their games, which is criminal, really. They should have walked that group, and they didn't. I don't think they've looked that good. They've looked okay, but they haven't looked brilliant. I've gone for the USA to win 1-0 in this match. It's a massive outside prediction. It's probably the only prediction I've done this week, for these four games, that is an outsider prediction. The rest I've gone reasonably comfortable, and I think I'll at least pick up 3 points from the other three fixtures. But this one in particular, I've gone out there. I'm going for it. I think USA have got a special squad. It's not going to go much further than the quarterfinals this World Cup, but overall, I think they've outperformed themselves, and I think they've still got one stage to go. Dutch for me, very aging back line. With Daley Blinds playing in your back line at wing back, it's something to worry about. And I think that the USA are going to pick them apart. You're probably going to disagree, especially if your name's Stuyben, but I'm going for it. USA to win 1-0. Next up, we got Argentina versus Australia. Of course, Australia did incredibly well, beating Denmark 1-0 and qualifying. Argentina kind of walked through Poland in the end. Not the result I wanted. I kind of wanted Denmark to go through and maybe Argentina to go out. Wasn't the case, unfortunately. With the Aussies, of course, coming out of Group D, they came in behind France, which is understandable. Which means they have got the harder tie in the round of 16, but I don't think they would have got past Poland anyway, in my opinion. So I've gone with Argentina. I've gone with them to win 3-1 in this fixture. I'm going to give Australia a goal. Really enjoyed watching Australia this tournament. They've got the best fans out there by an absolute mile. And yeah, I think that they've outperformed themselves already. To even get to this stage is a massive achievement for Australian football. And it will be their final. This, you know, they're going to put everything into this game. But Argentina have just got too much. They've got too much in that team. And Messi is slowly walking his way to a World Cup final. It was very dodgy at the start, but I think Messi is now on his way to a final. I don't see any other team on his side of the draw really stopping him. Unless France lie on his side of the draw, which they actually might do eventually. Maybe in the semi-finals. So France could be one to stop them. And talking of France, they're playing against Poland on Sunday, I believe. And they are probably going to win this game. I've gone for 3-0 to France. I think this is probably the most straightforward out of all of these fixtures, even with Australia versus Argentina. I think that Poland versus France is such an easy prediction. France did lose, though. They did lose against Tunisia. It shows that they do have weakness. They aren't perfect and they aren't going to walk through every opponent, which will hopefully help us come quarterfinals if we manage to make it as England fans. I think, though, this is going to be a very straightforward win. I put 3-0 and I think that the likelihood is that it'll be a matter of playing the ball around, keeping a hold of the ball for maybe the first 30 to 45 minutes. And then, because Poland will have been chasing shadows for the first half in its entirety, pretty much, they'll be shattered. And then from then on, France have got more energy. They'll pick them apart and score. I think that's going to be the case for both of the last two fixtures in this knockout round, part one, if I'm honest with you. Because I think that's what's going to happen with England and Senegal as well. I just think the bigger teams can hold possession, make the other teams chase their shadows for 45 minutes. They're absolutely shattered in the second half. They whack on a few subs with it at speed, and that's your game done. I think that's what will happen with France here. Gone for 3-0. I think it's probably the most straightforward fixture. If no one gets a point, if there's someone who doesn't get a point from this fixture and has gone for Poland, you're just wrong. By the way, with these predictions, it is the score at the end of... Oh, God. How are we going to do this? We're going to do it as the end of play. So, like, penalty shootouts won't count. If it ends, you know, if someone puts 2-2 and it goes all the way to penalties and they win on penalties, it's not 3-2. It was 2-2. Does that make sense to you guys? So, yeah, let me know in the comments if you understand that. I assume you do understand that. So, yeah. 3-0 France is a very straightforward prediction. As I've just explained with that France game, I think it is very much going to be a bit of holding the ball and waiting for the opposition to get tired, and that's what it's going to be with England-Senegal as well. Senegal, if they had Mane in the team, I think I'd be a lot more scared going into this fixture. However, they don't, and I think that they're going to be pretty easy to pick apart over the course of 90 minutes. I don't see this one going to extra time or anything like that. I think it's just going to be straight up 90 minutes, 2-0 England, probably both goals coming in the second half, as I've just explained, holding onto the ball, making Senegal do the running, tire them out a little bit, bring on the likes of Jack Grealish if Rashford doesn't start for whatever bizarre reason, because he should after his last display. I don't know, Jack Grealish, Callum Wilson even, just to inject a bit more, not speed, but kind of urgency into the attack. That will see off Senegal. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, 2-0 I think is a decent score prediction. I don't think they're going to get more than 2. but I don't think it's going to be overly hard either. I think the next, if I'm right in thinking, I believe the winner of England's game, the winner of France's game play against each other. That's where England get their first real test of the tournament, and that's where they probably will come undone, in my opinion. But if they end up getting there and I've got it wrong and it's not the France game that we team up against, then who knows what might happen. But I'm pretty sure we do come up against France in the quarters. So this is England's last little walkthrough until they get a real challenge, which will be hard to predict, if I'm honest. You don't know what England team's going to turn up at the moment. So let's run through my predictions for these first 4 games in the round of 16. We've got Netherlands up against the USA. USA to win 1-0. Argentina to win 3-1 up against Australia. France to win 3-0 up against Poland. And England to win 2-0 up against Senegal. Remember, guys, get your comments down below with your predictions and let me know who you think is going to win in each of these round of 16 games. Round of 16 part 2 will come as a separate video, probably on Sunday or Saturday night. I haven't decided which of the two yet, so I will let you guys know when that is out. Make sure you've got me on Twitter, Instagram, in the Discord. You go below to get into the Discord and hit the link there as well. So there's lots of ways that I advertise that these videos are out. There's no excuse not to get your predictions in, is what I'm trying to say. But thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you in the next one.